joining us. With us is Lieutenant General Subrata Saha, who's a former member of NSAB and a former Deputy Chief of Army. With us also is Dr. Swati Rao, Associate Fellow of Europe and Eurasia Center of the MPIDSA. Let's first go across to General Saha. And if I can ask you, sir, when you speak or when you look at these kind of voices coming in, these are highly motivated individuals. And these are not, the kind of images and reports that we saw. One would have assumed that these are just people who are fighting on the streets, perhaps groups of 5 and 10 individuals coming together, but it's highly organized and planned. And that's the kind of planning that perhaps has kept Russia at bay from the capital city of Kyiv all these days.
That's right, Madhav. See, first we have to understand on day one of the war, we had seen the president in combat fatigues along with 4 other members of parliament. And what was he trying to show? A, he is of course the leader of the nation. B, he is a man on the street. 1. 2 is the citizens' fighting spirit, which has been talked about by the media all across the world, particularly the West. So effectively what the West is now trying, it is, working on a strategy where it is propping up Zelenskyy as a strong war leader, supported by tremendous fighting spirit of the citizen. So these two put together, and they are pumping in arms from various countries and all kinds of arms, from assault rifles to anti-aircraft weapons and so on. So that's how they are trying to make sure that a bulwark of the Ukrainian citizen is delegated the fighting, while they hope that the sanctions, might work. Whether it is it is getting put into buy-in is the big question. And like you raised during your coverage of the report from the ground, you spoke about that long convoy getting delayed. What we are hearing from various media sources is there are some technical logistical problems, plus the fact that nobody wants to get into this quagmire of fighting in built-up area, because as they say, in a built-up area, because of having to fight in the rubble and literally every feature is like a bunker. So therefore, whatever gains that you make are in arithmetic progression, whereas the losses sustained are in geometric progression. So it's which obviously Putin is trying to avoid for now, and he is hoping that by surrounding Kyiv and selectively...
Yes. In fact, there's another round of talks, in fact, that is perhaps due anytime now. Let me also quickly bring in Dr. Swati Rao. Dr. Swati Rao, when we were told about this invasion, we were told it would be a matter of hours, if not days, by when Russia would reach Kyiv and take control. It's been, in fact, close to 2 weeks now, and that hasn't happened on ground. When weapons were being sent by Western countries, there were those who were questioning, what about training? Because all of these are highly sophisticated gadgetry that requires a lot of planning, training, etc., and the citizens won't be able to do it. But yet, defying all the odds, the citizens have managed to keep the Russian army at bay. And this really explains the motivation. It's just so inspiring to see them talking about actually picking up the gun to only save their motherland.
Right. So I think a part of the answer is already hidden in the question that you asked me. There are 2 things that we're dealing with. On the one
side is the heroic bravery that we see coming from Ukraine and the Ukrainian people and the common men and women in Ukraine, elderly men and women. It is absolutely stunning. I don't think that anybody has probably seen that in their lives ever. So that is one thing. And then, full marks to them. And absolutely, it is something that really invokes a lot of respect, and whoever sees that, okay? The other thing is about the Russian military doctrine, the Russian military approach with which they are approaching Ukraine, okay? Now, here we need a little bit of a clarification. I don't think that, some technical analysis has been done on it, because and I really want to, throw some light on that, because let's see what is really happening, okay? What you said, that there are weapons being sent by the West. What weapons are being sent by the West, okay? There are basically 2 kinds of weapons that are being sent by the West. One is a Javelin missile and the other is the Stinger missile, right? The Javelin, why are they sending these 2 missiles? Let's understand that NATO and West know that they are pumping Ukraine with weapons and ammunitions to fight a losing battle. And there's a reason why I say it, okay? It is a strong statement. There's a reason why I say it. because Ukraine doesn't have a potent air force, right? They don't have an air force. What they're doing is that the West is helping Ukraine spread out a tactical air defense, okay, with the Javelin and Stinger missiles. You know, the Javelin and Stinger missiles can be used by people who are not as trained, right? Remember, because you said that if they sent very sophisticated weapons, the problem comes with training. So Javelin and Stinger missiles are easier to handle missiles that can be handled with little training. They can be given to militias. They can be given to people, you know, with little bit of training, okay? So all that is happening, and that is why, NATO and West has been pumping them with Javelin and Stinger missiles and not with more sophisticated weaponry.
All right.
So, the point is that they are not a match for the Russian advanced air assault system that Russia has not activated till now. Okay.
All right.
Please understand that if Russia has not gotten into Kyiv, it's because that launching an urban warfare within a city is extremely complicated, and Russia doesn't do it for tactical reasons. Okay. So it's better to get our concept clear about it.
Well, we will in fact wait for those talks that are scheduled to take place later in the day today, and whether there's any outcome after that, whether there is any steps further that is taken by the Russian Defense Forces, the Russian army after that. Dr. Swati Rao as well as General Saha, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us with your perspective on the story. For the moment, we're going to slip into a very quick break.